Talking hay feeder efficiency now. A couple of months ago, right here on SUNUP, we profiled a research project that was underway on that very topic. And joining us now is Dave Lalman, our Extension beef cattle specialist, to talk more about the study and the results that are finally in. Dave, tell us to begin with what that study was about and how it was set up.
Okay. Well, I have a graduate student that you interviewed actually there a couple months ago. His name is Austin Sexton, and Austin has been conducting an experiment looking at popular types of hay feeders here in the state of Oklahoma to see if there's much of a difference in terms of hay waste from those feeders. First thing he did was he selected two types of feeders that did not have sheeting around the bottom or were open bottom, if you will. And then he had two feeders that did have sheeting around the bottom to kind of help hold that hay in there. Now, you know, there's advantages and disadvantages. We expected it to hold more hay in, but it adds to the cost of the hay feeder and it adds to the weight. So it makes it less convenient to move around. And so I think we mentioned last time we interviewed, it looked like we were getting some very positive benefits in terms of hay waste from the sheeting, and that's true. One of the sheeted bottom feeders wasted about 13% of the hay. That was the yellow, what we call the ring feeder. And the open bottom steel ring feeder, which is kind of the economy model that we tested, wasted about 21% of the hay, which is an incredible amount. We didn't expect any of the feeders actually to waste that much. So it's a pretty substantial amount of waste. The other interesting feeder type we used was kind of a newer model, a modified cone feeder, and it was very efficient and only wasted about 6% of the hay that was fed. So by far and away, that newer model, granted it's a little heavier, it's more expensive than the other feeders, but it was very, very efficient.
Of course, and as we know, every penny counts when you're talking about a cattle operation and feeding your livestock. So that's a pretty big deal when you're talking the difference between 20% waste and 5 or 6% waste.
Yeah, 21 versus 6, it's a big difference. And you think about we talked about last time, the effort and the cost that goes into, planting the hay crop, fertilizing it, maybe spraying it, harvesting it, moving it into storage, and then go out and feed it and waste as much as 20 to 21% is kind of a shame.
Now, what do you hope to do next? Now that these results are in, all the calculations are there, what happens next?
Well, he's working on kind of an economic model now to see how much more might you be able to afford to, let's say, accomplish another 5 or 10% savings in terms of that feeder waste, and so how much more could you pay for one of the more expensive type feeders. So he's kind of working on the economics of that, and we'll have that available before long. Another interesting question that we may get to next year would be stocking rate on those feeders. So we think about stocking rate in pastures, but he's real interested in finding out if let's say you have 10 cows per feeder, do you have more or less waste than if you have 20 cows per feeder? And it's a good question, and there's no data reported on that in the literature. So maybe we'll have some answers on a project like that for you next year.
Okay, well, we appreciate the update, and we look forward to talking with you more in the future.
Thank you.
All righty, Dave Lalman, thank you.